Well, hello, PaintCan friends and family. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the road trip that we did just recently, JD and I, where we went, what we did it work out, all the details. Stick around. What did we do when we left the house? Well, we left Stewart's Shops gas station in New Berlin, New York at 3:06, my timestamp was, and we did an iron butt ride. We took Route 8 to 840 to a couple side roads to the New York State Thruway, which is I-90. We flew on I-90 and we went all the way through the state of New York into the corner of Pennsylvania and then into Ohio. Once we got to Ohio, we stayed on 90 to 271, down 71, down 75, stayed on 75 right down to just outside of Atlanta, where we caught off on some back roads over to JD's sister's house, where we kind of crashed out for 4 hours. She had some air mattresses set up for us right there in her living room, and we crashed out on them for a few hours, man, and we took off. The iron butt portion, what we did on that is we stopped every 100 to 125-ish miles wherever the gas stations allowed, because JD's, his light came on at approximately 130 miles. And I was told by a friend that I used to work alongside of at a different company that when he does long distance trips, he tries to stop every 100 to 125, just get off, walk around a little bit, get limbered back up a little bit. Your body will appreciate it. And anytime I've done long rides, I've done exactly that, because believe me, my body definitely appreciates that. So we did those stops along the way. And when we did the iron butt ride, when we did our stops, they were just gas stops, or every time we stopped, we would get gas. Well, even if we stopped short somewhere, we would get gas as well. So we would get that, write everything down in a book for your log. Then you would take a picture of that receipt with your odometer, and away you go to the next stop. We're not going to go into exactly how the iron butt system works, but what we did along the way. So all in and done, by the time we stopped at his sister's place, we were looking to do a Saddlesore 1000. We were in the 1230s. I think it was 1233 or 1236, something like that. I don't remember exactly what the mileage was to her house. Obviously, we don't have a receipt at her house, but the last gas stop was just a tick over 1200. So we were well outside of the cushion zone of maybe your odometer is off. We were easily over by 200. Myself, I am not going to turn the receipts in to get the certification. I have done that previously. I already am part of the Iron Butt Association, so I'm not concerned about that aspect. JD does plan on doing that. So with that, he's going to have to do all the paperwork, send everything in, and go through all that. My suggestion is, if you're going to do an iron butt ride, look at the website first. Make sure you cross all your T's, dot all your I's. Don't be like me sometimes where you cross your I's and dot your T's. That's not a good thing, crossing your I's while you're riding. Joking aside though, get on the website, check everything out, make sure that what your ride is will be good enough to suffice for them. They are sticklers about the rules, but they are very, very fair about the rules too. So with that, we got the iron butt portion done. Crashed out at her house for, like I said, about 4 hours worth of sleep. Jumped in the shower, went out, cleaned up the bike a little bit, got some of the road grime and bugs off from those 1,200 plus miles, and we headed up through the North Georgia mountains. We were heading from just, I would say, a little bit northeast of Atlanta, almost straight north. I don't know the roads of that area. I don't know anything about it, so I just blooped it into my phone, and we're heading to the Cherohala Skyway. That's all I know. That was on our list of to-dos for day 2. Not knowing that State Route 129 and 19, and I think 11 was merged for a little while there as well, not knowing that those roads took us over top of Neels Gap. We're just riding along, and all of a sudden we hit some of the most beautiful twisties, amazing corners that were banked up, beautiful. Beautiful corners. With that, we come to the top. We see a few bikes. We see some hikers because that's part of the Appalachian Trail heading north out of there for hikers. So it's biker, hiker together. Had some nice conversations with some people there, and then headed out farther north. Windy, curvy roads all the way to the Cherohala Skyway. Absolutely awesome. Got stuck behind some slow traffic. That was kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. It's a public highway. So we got up to the gift shop. We stopped in. I think he got 2 or 3 stickers. I got a couple stickers. He's stickering up his whole front fairing on his bike. I'm just sticking those kind of things on my windshield. So with that, like I said, we stopped in there, waited for a while, make sure there was no traffic ahead of us. And we still caught up with some traffic, whatever. So we rode up through probably at about 10 or 11 mile mark. And I didn't realize the Skyway was as long as it is. So I messed up. I'll take the blame for it. I messed up because I was mapping it out. And when we got about to that mark, I saw a sign. I don't remember the exact mileage, but it added up to the Skyway was going to be about 30 miles long. And it's noonish at this point. Hadn't had breakfast yet either. So we chose to turn around, go back to a couple different outlooks, took some pictures from there, but we didn't go back to some probably the better ones. My fault. But if we had traveled all the way back like I had intended, then go all the way to the end, or all the way to the end and ride all the way back, then stop. It's going to be mid-afternoon by the time we get all this hit in. And that was not our ultimate goal for the day. We wanted to stop there on the way to our ultimate goal. So with that, we stopped at a couple places, went on. As we traveled north, we had a lot less opportunities for the lookouts. The road, however, got a lot twistier. It was kind of wandery, meandering through the top of the mountains until you get to the farther northern end. And at that point, it gets pretty twisty. Absolutely awesome. Beautiful riding, beautiful scenery. If you have not ridden that area, I would say put that on your bucket list. Definitely worth doing. So once we left there, we get almost down to the bottom. And one rider that we met at one of the scenic pull-offs said, go down here in such and such a road off to your left. And I saw it on my map on my phone. So actually we shot past it because the name of the road wasn't the same. So we shot past the turnaround. I'm like, that's got to be the road. So we took that road, take a right-hand turn, heading back south, took another right-hand turn. That actually was the name of the road. Can't tell you what it was. It's a woman's name. I don't remember. It was a few weeks ago. That was the twistiest road I've ever ridden on in my life. It was very, very narrow. It was driveway narrow. And it twisted back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It was unbelievable. Probably the road was only about a mile long, but it took us about 5 miles to get there. It was absolutely amazing. It was bumpy. It was through a national park. So the road wasn't the greatest condition, but if you're into riding twisties, look at the map and find it once you get down there. It's definitely worth the ride. That brought us back out onto 129, but it was a pretty good shortcut to get there. If you know that area, 129 brings you up to Neels Gap in North Carolina. That was our ultimate goal, stopping at Neels Gap and riding the tail of the dragon. People claim it is one of the most dangerous roads in America. Yes and no. The road itself, no. The road itself is easily rideable. There's nothing dangerous about it. In fact, it had just been completely repaved, resurfaced about 2 weeks prior. Here's where the danger comes in. Dumb riders. Dumb drivers. Riding over their ability or driving over their ability. Riding or driving beyond their vehicle's ability as well. Showing off to friends or whatever it is. There's a lot of, and we saw it, there's a lot of times, believe it or not, this big old dresser doesn't corner and accelerate like a leader class sport bike. Not that hard to figure that one out. So there were a few times where we're just rolling along. Speed limit's 30. We're doing exactly 30. Sure we were. So we're riding along at exactly the speed limit at all times, except for the sharper corners. We'll just, sure. So we're riding and double solid line the whole way because there's just nowhere to pass. Leader bikes, sport bikes flying by us. Hey man, you do you. As long as you don't endanger me, ride your ride. I don't care. There was absolutely no police presence. That was great. So people could just do what they wanted. And for the most part, everybody did stay in check. There was a group of Mustangs that we all see the memes about Mustangs crashing. They were going ahead of us probably 10 to 15 minutes. So they turned around and came back south. And when they did, we met them in a corner, which Tail of the Dragon is nothing but corners, 318 turns in 11 miles. So it's nothing but corners. We met them in a corner, and I know at least the first two, possibly the first three, had all four-wheel sliding in the corner. I'm on the outside of the corner. I wasn't real thrilled with that situation. They made it, we made it. It's all good. So from there, we rode all the way all that way down there. We're not going to just ride straight through it and continue north. Not going to happen. So we rode north, turned around, rode south. We saw some photographers heading north. So on the way back south, we stopped in to where one of the photographers were. He gave me a card, his information and all that. And I got some pictures from him, from his website. Another photographer got pictures of JD, but not me. Guess he wasn't ready, whatever, doesn't matter. It was just cool that the one did get some really cool pictures of both of us going through one fairly solid corner. So we go to the end, turn around, come back through, stop into Neels Gap Motorcycle Resort. We grab some food, just simple burger and fries and soda. And I got to tell you, one of the best burgers I've had in a long time. Typical fries is what it is, a little bit thicker. Food was really good, to say the least. Went over and looked out the Tail of the Dragon store from Killboy, checked out their stuff. Bought a few t-shirts, hat, stickers. Can't go anywhere without buying stickers, I mean, let's be real. So got all that, rode back up north and just continued through it at that point. So we take a total of 3 trips through the Tail of the Dragon. When we get done with that, we're hammered down, heading toward home. There are a lot of people on Facebook groups and some of the comments here on YouTube as well that ask, well, why didn't you take this road? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Remember, JD had Tuesday, he had to work. So we couldn't take off till Wednesday morning. My daughter's 21st birthday was Friday. She gets out of work at 5 o'clock. She and her husband were camping. We were going to go over and meet them and just hang out, campfire, play some games, whatever, for her birthday. I've got from 3 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday morning, till 5-ish Friday. That's all I've got. JD races race cars on the weekend. He's got to get his race car ready to go. I believe he had a race on Saturday. He had to race. He didn't have a ton of time either. I had about a 62-hour window. That's what we had. He had a few more hours. I did a total of 2,316 miles for this full trip from house to house. He did probably 25 and a quarter, something like that, because I live, if you don't know, about 30 miles below Utica. He lives 20 to 25 miles below Albany. So he had a little over 100 miles to get here Tuesday night, get a couple hours of sleep, meet me Wednesday morning to take off. And then when we split coming up I-88, coming home, he stayed on I-88 heading toward home. I came up 8 back to my place. So he had about 200 miles more than I did. With that, that's what our ride was. We headed north up into through Virginia and West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York. Well, when we get into on our way up through, we're just almost to we're north of Knoxville, between Knoxville and where 81 ends on I-40, and we stopped at Buc-ee's. Then from Buc-ee's, we headed north. We were hammered down. That cruise set, just going. With that, where are we going to stay that night? So we talked about if there's a state park open or whatever, we're going to jump into a state park, crash out for a couple hours. We both brought a hammock, a sleeping bag, and a pillow. That's what we had. So we're going up through, we're still in Tennessee on I-81, see a sign for a state park on the side of the road. So we whip off that exit, shoot over to the state park, it's like, I don't know, 10 miles off I-81. They had a barricade across one lane, basically the incoming lane, and it said, if you're not camping here, basically you're not welcome here. We went in anyway just to see if there was a park police or a ranger or something that we could talk to, and maybe, even though the office was closed, maybe we could pay him cash and he could sign us up in the morning. Whatever. Didn't see anybody, didn't want to go into the camping area because that's just not cool. So we left. We get to, I believe it's mile marker 60 on I-81 in Virginia, and it's a car-only rest area. We pull off right on the edge of the curb. We're tired. We brought tarps to go over our hammocks. Well, there was nothing we're going to hang a hammock to. There was nothing. So right up next to the curb, he pulls up into the corner of a parking spot. I pull up right behind him. There's a little bit of a storm drain between us. It was 11:30 at night. Throw down the sleeping bag on the ground, put the pillow down, ran a tarp from the bike right off to the ground, and we slept for about 2.5 hours. Show you the pic here. From there, we just lead-footed at home. We got into central Pennsylvania on I-81. We ran into about 5 miles of rain. So we found an overpass, ducked under it, threw on the rain gear. Got hot. We were ready to rip that rain gear off. Stopped for gas. Saw that was a dumb idea because we had more rain. By the time we got done getting gas, it was raining again. So it was a good thing we left it on. Got up to about the New York line, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. It was just a small strip coming across. I get to the Sydney exit. I'm not sure where JD stripped his rain gear off. I pulled off that exit to come north. I took all my rain gear off because it did not breathe at all. It worked really well in the water, but it was just cheap frog togs. No matter what anybody tells you about, man, this is perfect rain gear, that's perfect or whatever. No rain gear is perfect because every piece of rain gear has holes in it. One's right here. One's here. Down at the bottom. Same thing with the pants. At the top of your pants, at the cuff of your boots, water can get in. Luckily, the way my fairings are designed and such, I got very, very little to no water through it all. It was awesome. Just cheap frog togs is all it was. No sense, in my opinion, going out and buying the real expensive stuff. So that was our trip. That's where we went. Again, 23.16 for mileage for me, probably about 25.25 for him. That's where we were. So what bike did he take? Well, he took a Roadstar 1700cc V-twin. I took, as you can see here in the video, my 2018 Yamaha Eluder. So we both had Yamahas on the trip. This is an air-cooled 1900cc, but it has all the bells and whistles. It's got the stereo system in it that you plug your phone into, or you can Bluetooth it. It's got a big tank that I can go, not that it mattered riding with a bike with a smaller tank, but I can go 230 to 250 miles depending on how I'm riding on a tank of gas. I've got heated grips. I've got heated seat. I've got turn-by-turn navigation in it. You get the picture. The bike has everything, including the cup holder. I also put a cup holder up on my bars so I could have more liquid with me in case I needed it. Suggestions with the bikes. Go over the bike nut and bolt. nut and bolt your bike. Climb underneath it, ride around it, the whole deal. Nuts and bolts, check everything. Check for tightness, check for torque, check your tires, make sure your tires are good. I literally 70 maybe miles on these Metzler Cruise Tech tires when I left. They did phenomenal. They handled the road so well in the tail of the Dragon. I'll insert a picture here. I dragged hard parts. That's dumb. Clearly dumb dragging hard parts. I put it down, brought it really quickly back up. I did it for one reason, and it was stupid. I did it because the photographer was there. I wanted to get a picture of sparks flying out the back. Again, stupid. You can tell me in the comments it's stupid. I already know it's stupid. Tell me whatever you want. I know, that's dumb. Don't do it. But I did. Metzler Cruise Tech, no problems. Handled any corner. The rain we got into, couldn't even tell the road was wet. These tires, phenomenal. No, they're not sponsored. Not at all. Cruise Tech tires did great. And honestly, after over 2,300 miles, plus S70, so we're close to 2,400 miles on these tires. I cannot see any visible signs of wear. They worked that well. So they worked. Got fly buzzing around me. Airhawk R for a butt pad. Worked great. Put just a little tiny bit of air in it. It just keeps you off the seat a little bit. That's all. But if you're going to use the heated seat, do not use the Airhawk. Other ones may work. The heat just doesn't go through because it's meant for ventilation. So any heat that comes up through gets ventilated right out as you ride. So if you want to use the heated seat, take the Airhawk off. JD, knowing it's an iron butt, when we got into Ohio, he was already, my butt's hurting. So we stopped at Cycle Gear. Thank you to Cycle Gear. Again, no sponsorship, no affiliation, no nothing. We stopped at Cycle Gear and we picked up a gel seat pad for his bike. It was the only one they had. He was going to look for an Airhawk. They did not have it in stock, so he used another brand, and I don't know what it was. He said made a world of difference, absolute world of difference. So the bike, everything is tight, everything's good to go. Oil change, tires are good, pressures are good, belt tension is good. How do you pack it? What do you take? Don't overpack. You're going to find out you don't need most of what you take. I had a Stockton toolkit, again, no affiliation, a Stockton toolkit that I got from Revzilla. I threw that in a side bag. I had my hammock, my tarp, some paracord to hang it in a tree with, some clamps to clamp the tarp to the string, my rain gear, first aid kit. I'm gonna take a first aid kit. Also a tire plug patch kit. I had some tools and such, filled up one bag. The other bag, I took just enough clothes, one saddlebag worth of clothes for a few days. That's it. Then on the back here, kind of like a tour pack, but it's not. It's a Saddlemen tunnel bag. Again, no affiliation. Saddlemen tunnel bag that I've used. It's getting kind of wore out. It leaks water because of age. It was pretty good when it was new, but it's got a cover that goes over it. That's cool. I also took a tank bag so I could have things right there with me, my receipts for the iron butt and all that. This Saddlemen bag, I actually took a razor blade and I cut out a notch in the bottom of it that would coincide with the way the backrest works. I then knocked some holes through it so the backrest pad is bolted where it's supposed to be on the sissy bar, but the bag is sitting on the rack behind it, comes down over it a little bit because it's a tunnel bag, sits a little lower. I have just a little extra room in there. Great place to put a sweatshirt. If you take a jacket off, put it in there, carry just a little bit of extra stuff with you. I did not bring a ton of stuff. Now, if you saw that other video, you will see on my back seat, I had a big old duffel bag. What was in the duffel bag? Basically nothing. In that duffel bag was a cheap $16 Walmart sleeping bag, and right next to it was a cheap novelty pillow. It stuffed the bag pretty good, and then I put a few other things in to push it just enough forward that I've got a backrest while riding. Makes a big difference. I put it there. I could have put the sleeping bag somewhere else. It weighed about a pound, literally nothing. Worked great as a backrest. I like having a backrest on the bike for the rider. This bike does not have one. My Valkyrie does. I have absolutely fallen in love with that backrest. So with that, that's how the bike was set up. Not a big change from the way I would normally ride it. Bike was set up that way, worked really, really well. What did I do for clothing? Well, we'll start at the boots. Call them boots, call them sneakers, call them what you want. Icon Tarmac, basically like a high top basketball sneaker, with the exception it's built for motorcycle use. So more stabilization, big time stabilization in the sole. Not a lot of flexibility. Walking, curving front to back, great flexibility. Side to side, you can get a run over and that thing's not going to crush. A lot of padding in the ankles. Again, a motorcycle-based boot sneaker. From there, I always tell people, if you're going to do a long ride, do not wear new gear. Always wear gear you have ridden with and you know will work. I went against my own advice for one purpose, to let you know whether these products worked or did not. So, I'm going to move tripod a little bit over to this jacket. It's a Sedici, couldn't tell you what model. I don't know. Bought it off Revzilla, Sedici jacket. I'd worn it one other time. Quick review on it. It's got it's a lot of mesh, but it's got a zip out thermal liner on the inside. It's the thermal liner is good, but if it had some sort of a windbreaker liner between, I would say the jacket would be absolutely awesome. Take that liner out when it starts getting warm, which it got hotter than heck when we got down south. That venting, the wind just blew right through. Other than the weight of wearing a jacket or stopping, you could feel it was great. It came with elbow and shoulder armor. I put in back armor as well for the jacket. Jacket, again, I really, really liked the jacket. It was not broken in. By the time a few days had gone by, I liked it even better. So I would definitely say good jacket. Pants. I bought cargo pants from, they were also from Revzilla. I believe they were called Ironworker, the black ones. Good and bad. Extremely comfortable. Extremely comfortable. They have pockets for knee armor and hip armor, which I did put in. I put Icon, I don't know if it's level 1 or 2 C armor, I don't know. Because either way, if you crash, it's going to hurt. So I put an armor in the knees and hips because the pockets were there. They are incredibly comfortable. The Icon armor is incredibly comfortable. However, 90-ish degrees, a lot of humidity riding down south. After a lot of hours, they're a little tighter than the jeans I would normally wear. Therefore, that little bit of tightness with the humidity and stuff, I was ready to get out of them. If you're just going to ride for a few hours, they're awesome. If you're going to ride an iron butt, maybe reconsider. The next day, both days I just had t-shirts on underneath the jacket. The next day, following into the part of the next day, I wore Sliders jeans, ones I've had for probably close to 10 years. They have pockets for knee armor, not hips, so I put the knee armor in. Very comfortable. They were great the rest of the time because they're a little bit looser than the Ironworker ones. Helmet. I used a Simpson Bandit. So I'm not sure exactly the paint job, whatever, just flat black. So Simpson Bandit helmet. Second time I'd ever worn it. Again, I'm doing things wrong to try to let you know, will it work? It broke in fast, which was good and bad, because it broke in enough that it started getting loose, especially with GoPro on the front and the Cardo on the side. It was heavy enough, it started wanting to come down. So I had, everybody has them because of COVID. You got the mask, you slide up, the sleeve, whatever you call it, buckle, whatever. One of them things, nylon. Stick it the other way over your head, loop it over, tighten the helmet up. I was great the rest of the time, not an issue. Didn't make it all that much warmer. Decent ventilation, not the perfect ventilation because the bike has a tall windshield on it. No helmet is good if it doesn't get air to it. So that's my issue, bike-wise, not helmet-wise. So I would say Simpson Bandit, good helmet. Just get it broke in before you go. And then I had some Joe Rocket gloves that I've worn for probably 4 or 5 years. Absolutely love those gloves. Great gloves. I wear them almost every time I ride. That's what I had on for gear. Camera-wise, GoPro 7, GoPro 10, GoPro Max, and my phone is what I used for doing video and picture. Would I do it again? Yes. I'm a glutton for punishment. Would I do it again the same way we did it this time? No. I want to be able to spend more time to do it. We ended up getting done exactly within just a couple minutes of 60 hours. We pushed too hard, but it's what we had. We had both taken vacation. We really didn't have a choice at that point. Lessons learned. Cherohala Skyway is longer than I thought it was. Take your time again. Everything's about taking your time, honestly. If you're going to do the iron butt, yeah, you got to mash on it. You got to get there. Will I do another iron butt? Hopefully 1 or 2 more this summer, honestly. Would I go back down to that same area and ride? Yes, we're already planning it for next year. With that, if that's something you're interested in, get a hold of me. And maybe we can meet up somewhere down there or on the way down. Ride down with us if you're local to us. Meet us along the way, whatever. We'll let people know when the time comes closer that we're going to be doing it next spring. Ride along with us if you'd like. You know, we're not the stuff you, oh, I'm a YouTuber. No, I got a small channel. I'm a guy. That's all. So would I do it again? Absolutely yes on the iron butt. Would I do it again on this long trip like we did? Absolutely yes. But we're going to take our time next time. Would I do it with the same bike? I don't know. If I get a little more faith in the Valkyrie, I might take that. It's 25 years old. It's got a lot of miles on it. It's got some electrical issues I still got to iron out. So I'm not sure on that. This Yamaha, absolutely. I have no concern whatsoever. It'll go. That's a no-brainer. But just remember, try to go to a gas station that's looks like it's a nicer, cleaner gas station. We didn't take food with us. We ate gas station food. Dumb. Just like dragging hard parts on the bike. Gas station food is dumb. It can do bad stuff to you. We literally just got jerky and water and go. Nutritional value, terrible. But we did it. I'm trying to be completely honest with you of what we did. We had an absolutely great time. Will we do it again? I've already answered that. Yes, we are going to do it next spring, but we are going to take a 6-day trip out of it. Can't do 7 because I got to be back. We got to be in church on Sunday morning because yes, I'm a pastor. So we'll be in church on Sunday morning, but I can make a 6-day trip out of it. I do it this time of year because my wife works for a school. Therefore, she's still in school at work. My youngest daughter still in school, so she's still there. I've got a little more free time because driving propane, not much going on. So I've got the time to take to do it. So that's why we're doing the timing we are, and it all works out. If you have any questions, drop them down below. If you have any suggestions, drop them down below. If you want to tell me I'm stupid for jerky and water, if you want to tell me I'm stupid for dragging hard parts, drop them down below. If you have not yet subscribed, I would ask that you please would and hit that bell notification. If you'd like to like this video, please do. Also, as you can see in the background, these people do help me out. Buddy of mine, the Last Detail. They do amazing work when it comes to detailing vehicles. I'm going to be doing a video from their place sometime soon, so stay tuned to see the quality of work that they do. If you call them at 315-709-2281, tell them PaintCan sent you. They'll hook you up, give you a little better deal. Chris or Sania, his wife, they'll hook you up. And also, Eagle Lights. I've got Eagle Lights on this bike. I've got Eagle Lights on my Valkyrie. Got trucks going by. Love the sound of an engine brake, so I'm not complaining of disrupting the video. I don't care. I get a little distracted on that, but that's cool. Eagle Lights on both bikes. Eagle Lights makes awesome products. There will be a link in this video to some parts of Eagle Lights. If you don't use the link and just go to their website, when you get to checkout, PaintCan 57, all caps, you're going to get 15% off your entire order. So with that, I'm going to wrap up this video. Thank you for sticking around for the 36 minutes this is going to be. Just me rambling about the trip. Again, any questions, comments, whatever, drop them down below. Until we get together again next week, God bless and have a great day.